welcome to The Explainer. You've probably heard this term buzzing around the tech world lately, AI agents. Well, today we're going to demystify it, because it's a concept that's set to completely change how we interact with technology. Let's get into it.
So I want you to start with this question. We're all getting used to AI that can chat with us, write an email, summarize an article. But what if it could do more? What if it could actually act on your behalf and check things off your to-do list? That right there is the huge promise of AI agents.
Okay, let's make this super clear with an example. Imagine you just say to your AI, hey, book me the cheapest flight from Delhi to New York for next month. Now, instead of just spitting back a list of links for you to click on, an agent actually gets to work. It's out there searching all the different sites, comparing all the prices, making sure a seat is actually available, and then it books the ticket with your info. And to top it off, it drops the flight details right into your calendar. That whole 6-step process, all from one single command. That's what we mean by autonomy.
So how in the world does an AI do all that? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break it all down for you. We'll start by showing you how agents are way more than just chatbots. Then we'll properly define what an agent is and take a look under the hood to see how they think. After that, we'll get into why they're so incredibly powerful and what all this means for the future.
All right, first things first. We have to start with this really crucial distinction, because it's super easy to lump all AI into one bucket. But agents are a whole different beast.
And this slide says it all, doesn't it? A basic large language model, an LLM, is essentially an information provider. You ask it to do something, and it gives you information, like a list of flights. But an AI agent is a goal achiever. You give it an objective, and it actually goes out and executes the steps to make it happen. It's the difference between having a research assistant and having a personal assistant who gets stuff done.
So now that we're clear on that key difference, let's properly introduce the star of today's show.
So here's the formal definition. At its core, an AI agent is a software system that can think, plan, and act toward a goal. And the key part is that last bit. It does this without you needing to hold its hand and tell it every single little step. The words you really want to remember here are think, plan, and act. It's a system that's built from the ground up for autonomy.
And acting isn't just one simple thing. It's a whole collection of abilities. The agent has to come up with its own strategy. It has to figure out which tools are the right ones for the job. And maybe the most important part, it has to be resilient. If it hits a wall, say a website is down, it doesn't just give up. It can rethink its approach and try something else, all while keeping that end goal in its sights.
Okay, this is where it gets really cool. How does a piece of software actually pull all of this off? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the architecture inside an AI agent.
This is basically the blueprint for an agent's brain. You can see it's made up of a few key parts that work together. It's got perception, to gather info, a reasoning engine to make decisions, tools to take action, and memory so it can learn as it goes. All these things work in a continuous loop. See, think, do.
Right at the very heart of the agent, you have the reasoning engine. You can really think of this as the brain of the whole operation. It takes in all the data, looks at the final goal, and then it decides, okay, what's the most logical thing to do right now to get closer to that goal?
But of course, a brain is pretty useless without hands to interact with the world. And that's where tools and actions come in. These are the agent's digital hands. An action could be anything from calling a flight booking API to running a database query to firing off an email. This is how the agent's decisions turn into actual results.
And finally, the thing that makes an agent truly robust is its memory and its ability to self-correct. Memory makes sure it doesn't get stuck in a loop or redo work it's already finished. And self-correction is its problem-solving superpower. Remember our flight example? If a payment fails with one credit card, the agent doesn't just crash. It recognizes the error, remembers it has another payment method in its toolkit, and tries that one instead. That's what makes it so smart. So we've seen the how. Now, let's connect the dots and talk about the why. Why is this architecture considered such a massive leap forward for AI? The real advantage of an agent comes from putting all these abilities together.
It's not just that it can use one tool, it's that it can orchestrate a whole symphony of tools in a complex sequence. It's not just following a rigid script, it's making decisions in real time. It doesn't shatter when it hits an error, it adapts, and it just keeps going until the job is done. That is what makes true complex automation possible.
And this isn't just a theory. This is happening now, in the real world. Think about an agent that can do automated market research, pulling data from dozens of websites, cleaning it up, and putting together a report. Or one that completely automates a business process, like onboarding a new hire. The applications are pretty much endless, because these agents are built to handle the messy, complex stuff. So as this tech gets better and better, it's really set to change everything about how we use software and, frankly, how we get things done. So let's zoom out and look at the big picture. I think this quote just nails it. This is the core idea. For decades, our relationship with computers has been pretty passive. We ask a question, it gives us an answer. Agents flip that script entirely. We just state a goal, and the AI actively works to make it a reality. It's a fundamental shift from having a conversation to true delegation. And that brings us to this final, really important question. As these tools get more and more capable of acting for us, the responsibility really shifts back to us, doesn't it? We have to decide what goals are important enough to hand over. It's a question that isn't just about technology. It's about our priorities and what kind of future we want to build. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.